What planet is Hillary Clinton on? Clinton advisor mocks Hillary in latest Wikileaks PODESTA emails. Wikileaks has released its 12th batch of emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta. This brings the total number of emails released to date to over 21,000. The whistleblowing site, Julian Assange's site, has previously stated that there are around 50,000 emails in total, with previous leaks exposing the Clinton campaign's cozy relationship with the media, its efforts to stop former Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders making the White House, and the long-awaited speeches Clinton gave to Goldman Sachs. Today's release included a list of potential vice presidential picks, categorized by race and gender, opposition research on Trump, and staffers describing Sanders as a doofus and saying they are effing hate potential Democratic nominee Larry Lessig. What planet? Hillary Clinton's description of herself as a moderate Democrat at a September 2015 event in Ohio causes some uproar amongst her team. In an email from advisor Neera Tanden, President and CEO of the Center for American Progress, to Podesta in the days following the comment, she asks why she said this. Quote, "I pushed her on this on Sunday night. She claims she didn't remember saying it. Not sure I believe her," end quote, Podesta replies. Tanden insists that the comment has made her job more difficult after, quote, "telling every reporter I know she's actually progressive," end quote. She adds, "It worries me more that she doesn't seem to know what planet we are all living on at the moment." Hillary's dicey territory. Emails between Clinton's foreign policy advisor Jake Sullivan and Tanden from March 2016 discuss how it was really dicey territory for Clinton to comment on strengthening bribery laws to ensure that politicians don't change legislation for political donations. Tanden agrees with Sullivan, quote, "She may be so tainted she's really vulnerable," equals, "If so, maybe a message of I've seen how this sausage is made, it needs to stop, I'm going to stop, it will actually work," end quote. Rehearsing for the server scandal. On September 2015, an email exchange between Podesta and Nick Merrill provided core language to be used in response to questions Clinton could be asked about her email server and the decision to bleach emails from it. The emails contain long and short versions of responses for Clinton. Quote, "Because the government already had everything that was work-related and my personal emails were just that, personal, I didn't see a reason to keep them, so I asked that they be deleted, and that's what the company that managed my server did. And we notified Congress of that back in March," end quote, the mail reads. Another answer is provided for the question, quote, "Why won't you say whether you wiped it?" end quote. And the response reads, "After we went through the process to determine what was work-related and what was not, and provide the work-related emails to state, I decided not to keep the personal ones. We saved the work-related ones on a thumb drive that is now with the Department of Justice. And as I said in March, I chose not to keep the personal ones. I asked that they be deleted. How that happened was up to the company that managed the server, and they are cooperating fully with anyone that has questions," end quote. Comcast-owned NBC dismissed Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State as unimportant in an email dated September 27, 2015. John Harwood, the chief Washington correspondent for CNBC, tells Podesta how he believes it is amazing that some people still think it's worth burning so much interview time with the person most likely to be the next president on her emails. The email was sent to Podesta a day after the U.S. Defense Department announced that it had discovered an email chain that Clinton had not handed over, despite claiming to have provided it with all of her work emails. Make love to Bernie or kneecap him. In September 2015, email to Podesta, Hill columnist Brent Badowski criticized the campaign for allegedly giving Clinton surrogates talking points to attack Bernie Sanders. Quote, "I cannot think of anything more stupid and self-destructive for a campaign to do," end quote, is what he said. And he added, "especially for a candidate who has dangerously low levels of public trust, and in the sight of Sanders' campaign being based on cleaning up politics." Badowski warns voters would be disgusted by attacks against Sanders and says he wouldn't discourage PODESTA from sharing the note with Clinton because, quote, "if she wants to become president, she needs to understand the point I am making with crystal clarity," end quote. Badowski also suggests make love to Bernie and his idealistic supporters and co-opt as many of his progressive issues as possible. Badowski also adds that he was at a Washington university where, quote, "not one student gave enough of a damn for Hillary to open a booth or even wear a Hillary button," end quote. He then goes on to volunteer to write talking points himself. Clinton's team issued some stark advice regarding her tactics for the make-or-break Democratic presidential debate with Sanders in Milwaukee, February 11, 2016. Clinton's team issued some stark advice regarding her tactics for the make-or-break Democratic presidential debate with Sanders on February 11, 2016, and the email to PODESTA came from Philip Munger, a philanthropist known for his hefty donations to the Democratic Party. He sent the email using an encrypted anonymous email service. Quote, "she's going to have to kneecap him. She's going to have to take him down from his morally superior perch. She has done so tentatively. She must go further," end quote, he says. A number of tactics for attacking Sanders are listed in the mail where Munger boasts, quote, "I was captain of the debate squad. I was considered one of the greatest debaters of my era. Not to brag, just establishing some cred," end quote. Netanyahu and Israel. A November 2015 email between Laura Rosenberger and Stuart Eizenstat, a former ambassador to the European Union and a special advisor on Holocaust issues, discussed Clinton's upcoming op-ed in Forward ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the U.S. Laura says, "The intent is to make this more about the relationship and her personal connection and go lighter on the policy side." Eizenstat forward his edits with a note, quote, "we must be careful not to seeming naive on the two-state solution. She must support it but suggest initial confidence-building steps now," end quote. And he adds, "I have also put in language more like her Brookings speech on Iran." The forward op-ed titled, quote, "How I would reaffirm unbreakable bond with Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu's," end quote, "promise to have Netanyahu visit the White House and to continue to strengthen America's security commitment to Israel." The Iran edition reads, quote, "We must remain committed to preventing Iran from ever acquiring a nuclear weapon and to vigorously enforce the new nuclear agreement. I would move to step up our relationship to confront Iran and its proxies across the region and make sure dangerous Russian and Iranian weapons don't end up in Hezbollah's hands or threaten Israel," end quote. Some media pointers. In a separate email exchange from June 30th, 2015, Badowski contacted PODESTA regarding a piece he wrote which he describes as being positive and carefully written to aid Clinton's campaign. Badowski writes, "John, I have only one mention of HRC, positive, carefully written, and designed to give her some cover with liberals." Now, concerning the TPP, Hillary Clinton campaigners discussed how to tackle Clinton's stance on the Trans-Pacific Partnership November 2015. National Policy Director for Hillary for America, Amanda Renteria, explains, "The goal here was to minimize our vulnerability to the authenticity attack and not piss off the White House any more than necessary," end quote. Democratic pollster Joel Bennington says, The reality is HRC is more pro-trade than anti, and trying to turn her into something she could not reinforce our negative around authenticity. This is an agreement that she pushed for and largely advocated for, end quote. Part of the system. Clinton's team acknowledges she is part of the system in an email regarding her strategies. Quote, "We are also going to test some messages that include acknowledgement of being part of the system and know how much has to change," end quote. Political strategist Stan Greenberg advised Podesta. And what will she say next? Clinton's words have to be tightly managed by her team, who are wary of what she might say, one email revealed. After the Iowa Democratic Party's presidential debate in November 2015, advisor Ron Klain mails Podesta to say, quote, "If she says something 3 times as an aside during practice, Wall Street supports me due to 9/11, we need to assume that she will say it in the debate and tell her not to do so," end quote. Klain's mail reveals Sanders was her biggest fear in the debate. Quote, "The only thing that would have been awful, a Sanders breakout, didn't happen, so all in all, we were fine," end quote. That's what he said. The mail also reveals Klain's role in securing his daughter Hannah a position on Clinton's team. Quote, "I'm not asking anyone to make a job or put her in some place where she isn't wanted. It just needs a nudge over the finish line," end quote. That's what he said. Hannah Klain worked on Clinton's surrogates team for 9 months, commencing the month after her father's mail to Podesta, according to her LinkedIn. Covering all bases. A November 2008 email from Federico Peña, who was on the Obama-Biden transition team, called for a Latino media person to be added to the list of staff to appeal to Latino voters. Federico de Jesus or Vince Casillas are said as ideal candidates, both of whom were working in the Chicago operations. Peña writes, "More importantly, it would be helpful to Barack to do proactive outreach to Latino media across the country to get our positive message out before people start spreading negative rumors." Embarrassing brothers. A May 2015 email between Podesta and Tandon appears to imply Clinton's brothers are a source of embarrassment for the campaign. In an email titled, Glad you said no," Tandon writes, "When H asks us to hire her old friend and Podesta replies, yep, maybe we can rent the Queen Mary for the next 18 months and fill it with her brothers and assorted crazy hangers on sale around and around." So this was contributed by RT and it's on the Daily Sheeple. I'll leave a link below for you for this.